What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Slice of TV, where we step away from the movies and we dive into the world of television. And today we are back to talk about possibly one of the greatest shows of 2025. Maybe we'll determine that at the end. But we're talking about It. Welcome to Derry. I am your host, Brett Parker. I have a special guest today, an It. Welcome to Derry super fan, because this person literally we were back and forth talking to each other as the show was going on throughout the season. So I couldn't think of anybody better to join me for this, and it's Anna, the voice, one of the voices of the Burns Hideout podcast. Give me back my action horror movies. You've heard her voice many places, but now she's talking to me today. Anna,
Yeah.
how the hell are you?
I'm doing so well, Parker. Thank you so much for inviting me. It has been a while since I've been on here, and this is a great episode to come back for.
Oh, I am so excited to not just have you on, but to talk about this show, which I don't know about you. I was excited from the very beginning. As soon as they announced there was going to be an it show, I was beyond excited because this was a movie. The at least the 2017 movie was like it's one of my favorite horror movies like of all time. Like
It's a good one, yeah.
it's
It's really
such
good.
a great, like, people are like it's a remake. I think it's a reimagining. It's based on a book, so it's like we've seen it many times before where like somebody does one version and then we get a different version. But
Yeah.
yeah, the as soon as they as soon as they announce the show, it's like, oh, it's going to be stepping away from the Stephen King like written story of it and kind of exploring his universe, which who doesn't love that? It's so vast.
Lore!
S-
Lore!
Lore, I know. Another reason why you're perfect for this, because this show is full of it, full of lore, and it's
Yes.
lore I wanted. It's lore I
Me too.
needed, and it's lore that was perfectly crafted.
It was, man. It was just, I'll say I was excited, but I was apprehensively excited. Just because, I mean, I love the It movies that Andy Muschietti did, but he kind of left a bad taste in my mouth with the Ezra Miller bullshit, like with the Flash movie and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh God, do I really want to dive back into this? But man, after that opening of the very first episode, I was hooked. I was like, I think this is some of the most shocking stuff I've seen all year. And this is TV. So from that opening of the pilot, I was seated.
So what is your history with like it? Like I mean, it could be the book, the 90 miniseries. Like, where did your journey with it start?
With the miniseries, Tim Curry's Pennywise was one of the horror figures for me growing up that terrified the shit out of me. And there's a great story that everybody loves to tell. I think I've told it somewhere before, but I was always the youngest out of all my parents' friends' kids
Mhm.
because their friends set them up. So by the time they got together, they had already all their friends had kids. So one of my dad's best friends, they had a son who was like 5 or 6 years older than me, but like they weren't mean or anything. They would let me play with them or whatnot, but they knew I was scared of Pennywise. And he had a poster of Tim Curry's Pennywise on the back of his door. And I was like 3 years old. I so vividly still remember this, them like closing the door and trying to get me to look at this poster. And I just had my head down. I was like, no, I'm not looking. And then finally they let me go. And I ripped open that door. And my mom and dad always say, your little legs were just a running down that hallway. I was so scared. But eventually got over my fear. My mom always loved Stephen King stuff. Silver Bullet was one of my favorites still, but one that we watched as a family a lot. And mom liked to read the books. Her best friend had every Stephen King book you could imagine, like first editions, wonderful library. So as I got older, I would borrow her books and read them because she knew I'd take care of them. And Stephen King has always been like a household name for us, as he has been for many people. But yeah, now Marley, she's getting into it. She watched the movies a couple of years ago, and she's been on this Welcome to Derry ride with me, and has just been loving it, which makes me happy too. So
Did you read the book?
yes, I've read the book. It's been a while, but yeah, I've read it. It's a good one.
it was a book for me that I remember getting about halfway through, and it was like there's a lot. Like that was a era of Stephen King where he was very much into substances.
That's putting it nicely.
Um, yeah, everybody knows the story. Like he wrote a lot of books in this era while very much under the influence, and
Inebriated, yeah.
you can tell when you read this book, because this is a book, one of his like larger books. Like it's over a
Yeah.
thousand pages, I think, or pretty damn
Mhm.
close to it. And
It's like a 35-hour audiobook listen.
it's insane. And I just remember reading it, and I got about halfway. I've never actually read the whole book, but I remember getting like halfway, and there was like 40 pages of just Mike Hanlon stuff.
Mhm.
And I was like, did we need 40 pages of Mike Hanlon stuff without like it's just kind of his life before, like with no instances of it or anything like that. It's just like, yeah, this is Mike. This is what Mike deals with. Here's his parents. Here's his grandfather. And it got
Right.
to a point where I was like, he's just rambling.
Mhm. It's like
And
he went down the rabbit hole stoned one night and was like, "Oh, I like this idea," and just kept writing and left it in the book.
I mean, when you include a questionable scene in your book about with children involved,
Yeah.
yeah, there's something going through that brain, and it was just like, all right, I
Yeah, it's
that
weird.
that was a
I
thing.
mean, I know kids are curious, I was, but it's I don't know, it's like I
Yeah,
wasn't thinking about that kinda stuff when I was a kid, so it's a little unrealistic in some
yeah.
parts as far as that's concerned.
All I know is I am glad with the miniseries and with the two books or with the two movies that we never got it. We never got
Yeah,
that scene.
same,
That was good,
same. I
but
think everybody knows at this point it's not necessary.
no, absolutely not. But yeah, so the first Andy Muschietti movie came out in 2017. Then we got the chapter 2 in 2019, and I think this had been circulating probably since like 2021. I think I originally saw kind of like Andy Muschietti was out there talking about the fact that he wanted to expand the It universe, kind of expand this world that he had created, because as similar like with similar elements that the miniseries has with the two movies, they're very different,
Mhm.
especially with like the 90s miniseries. I appreciate it for what it is, right? It was a TV miniseries. They couldn't do a whole lot that the book
Mhm.
kind of was giving them. And so watching it now, it's kind of cheesy. And when you look at like Tim Curry's Pennywise compared to Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise, they are vastly different too. Like
Yeah, Marley's tried to watch the old miniseries, and it's comical to her.
it's
She's
a
like, "He's not scary." Like, Bill Skarsgård is her Pennywise, which is
yeah.
really cool.
And don't get me wrong, I will never ever talk negative about Tim Curry.
No, never.
He is a god amongst men.
He is.
But yes, his I mean, and to be honest, his Pennywise performance is still one of the most iconic like characters in horror. Well, Bill Skarsgård transforms into Pennywise and is just like no one else could do it. Like, and I'm
No.
so glad that Andy wouldn't move along with the show without him, because there was
Yeah.
talks where like Bill didn't want to come back and play Pennywise. Like
Yeah.
he did his thing. He was moving on, and him and Andy are good friends. So it was like it's up to like it's you. If you don't do it, this show doesn't exist. Like we just don't do it because no one else
Right.
could be Pennywise. And it's true. And to be honest, his performance in the show like, exceeds everything he did in those two movies, in
Oh,
my
I
opinion.
agree. 100%. He is on a next like, another level in this show.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrifying.
I remember seeing the first one in theater, and I remember I've always talked about it, the fact that it was one of the worst theater experiences of my life, and not for the fact that it was going to see it, because I was so excited to see it. It was
Mhm.
everybody around me, just
Oh,
packed
no.
theater, which was great. It was one a packed theater, but you had like kids at the end of the aisle that were like flashing their phones, and it was just like I'm like 3 rows from the front. It was like an
Yeah.
experience I wish I could just kind of erase and just like, can we just erase everyone in the theater? I just want to be there and experience this again.
Yeah,
But
just me alone in the
yeah,
theater.
but I remember rewatching it when like as soon as it dropped on Blu-ray, I bought it, and I had seen it multiple times, and it's just like just that opening scene, and we know that scene, the
Mhm.
the sewer scene is iconic in both versions, and it just kind of showcased exactly what we were getting with Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. Like this
Yeah.
is what we're getting. And the
Mhm.
fact that we get so much more of that in the show, I like tenfold, it's
Yeah.
wild. And what I appreciate about the show is that we don't get Pennywise right off the bat.
I was just thinking that the buildup, waiting until 4 episodes in, halfway through the season for him to pop up and his entrance being that epic, man, you just couldn't have done it any better. I was just it gives me chill bumps to think about that whole scene, and we were like, "Oh, man," once we realized, like, that's not him.
Mhm.
That's definitely Pennywise.
Yep. It's it's one of those things where I think a lot of people were complaining the fact that like where's Pennywise? Because like a lot of people really enjoy it because of Pennywise. And if you don't have
Yeah.
Pennywise, then what's the point, right? But
Mhm.
the thing is, people, is that it is a cosmic entity that can literally change into any form. He can literally that I mean that's kind of the point, right? He transforms
Yep.
into your greatest fear. And I
Mhm.
love that this show gives us a reason onto why he uses Pennywise as much as he does. Like Pennywise is like,
Yes.
you know, he is that's like his default character setting. Like
Yeah,
Pennywise
it's
is
yeah.
who he is when he's not, doing his normal thing. Like
Mhm.
so like the thing is like you did have Pennywise. You had it up until the point you get Pennywise. He's been there the whole time.
Mhm.
And that's what I think a lot of people may not understand or may not get when it comes to what it is. Like they call it
Right.
because it doesn't have a true form.
Right.
So here's your reasons why you're getting all of these different forms.
Mhm.
And all I will say is that this series and the movies, like when it comes to the two movies, It Chapter 1 is the better of the two in my opinion. And
Agree.
it's
Yeah, agreed.
because it has kids. The kid actors in It Chapter 1, I thought, were fantastic. They
Oh, yeah.
all worked together
No doubt.
well. They had great chemistry, and it just works better because like it's more tense. Like when bad things are
Mhm.
happening to kids, it's more tense. When bad things are happening
Yeah.
to adults, it still has those tense moments, but it's like when Pennywise is trying to frighten the adult versions of the characters, it's not as tense and it's not as powerful. But it's kind of the
Right.
point because like Pennywise or the entity doesn't do well with adults. That's why he goes after kids because kids are easier to
Mhm.
scare.
Right.
So I think that's what makes the show great is they cast perfect kids.
Oh,
This show
man.
has some amazing kid actors to the point
All of them.
I didn't think I
Oh,
was
they
gonna
were
tear
so
up
good.
watching anything to do with it, but I
Mhm.
did
I know. I sobbed. I
be
cried so hard.
because character you were getting this great relationship with a character, and then things happen, and you're just like, "I knew it was gonna happen, but it still hurts. It still
Yeah, we theorized
hurts."
it, and it still was just like, "No."
It's so good,
So sad.
and along with the kid actors, you have some great performances from, like, adult characters, like the parents of
Once
some of
again,
the characters.
all wonderful.
Oh, so good. Well, I just wanna shout out I wanna go through the cast list because there's a lot of people in the show, and they all deserve to be shouted out. Um, I'm on Wikipedia, so it's gonna be weird, order. We have Taylor Page as Charlotte Hanlon, who is excellent in this
Oh,
show.
I love her so much.
Javon Adepo as Leroy Hanlon, who, it
Mhm.
was cool to see him since we do get a glimpse of him in It Chapter 1 as an older man.
Yep.
James Remar, Dexter's dad, as I
Man.
will always know
Mhm.
him, as
Yeah.
Lieutenant General Francis Shaw. We have Steven Ryder as Hank Grogan, Matilda Lawler as Marge Truman. This is one of the kid actors who's just so good. Amanda
Yes.
Christine as Veronica Ronnie Grogan. Clara Stack as Lily Bainbridge. Blake Cameron James as Will Hanlon. Arian Cartaya as Rich Santos. MVP.
MVP of the whole
MVP of this entire
damn
thing.
season. Whole season.
Miles Eckhart as Maddie Clements. Makal Kareem Fiddler as Teddy Uris. Jack Malloy Legault as Phil Malkin. Matilda Legault as Susan Malkin. Oh, that's cool. So Phil and Susie were actually played by actual brother and sister.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. Chris Chalk, who when you
The
talk about
other MVP.
MVP, there's gonna be a trinity. We're gonna at the end of this, I'm gonna ask Anna who her trinity is of this show. You're probably gonna figure it out as I'm talking about this, but Chris Chalk is Dick Halloran. That's why I'm wearing my Shining shirt for anyone who's not watching, whoever is watching. That's the reason why I'm wearing the shirt because Dick Halloran is in The Shining. But he's so good in the show. God damn, this
So,
dude is so good.
so good. They could not have cast anyone better for the Dick Halloran character, just for us to see who he was before the Dick we know. And we get so much more insight into Dick, like in the books, and
Mm-hmm.
into who he truly is and how close he is to Danny and Wendy. So just to see where he started and to also see them cast light on, like what his grandpa did to him and how his grandma also had the shining and taught
Mm-hmm.
him how to use the box and close things up. Just, oh gosh, wonderful. So wonderful.
So good. And it was funny because I was watching when I started watching the show and he first showed up. I knew I had seen something that the character was going to be in the show, and I was just waiting for when it was. And when he popped up, I was like, I recognize this guy. And for anyone who's seen Gotham, which is like the prequel show to Batman, he played
Right.
Lucius Fox in that show for a while,
Okay.
and the guy doesn't age because I think that show ended like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe even longer than that. And he looks exactly the same. So,
Does he really?
oh
I've
yeah,
never seen him in anything, so he was a total fresh face for me, and he just knocked it out of the park,
he killed it.
acting and then acting wise, but also portraying the character.
Mhm. Peter Outerbridge as Clint Bowers, who when there's a Bowers, bad things are gonna happen.
The worst.
Madeline Stowe as Ingrid Kirch, and of course, the one, the only Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise, the dancing clown, who you cannot. I mean, you just can't have anything without this man, and he has his performance in this show is just beyond amazing. Like, if you
Really
enjoyed
is.
him in the movies, you need to watch the show. And if you're listening to this right now and you haven't seen the show, guess what? We're about to get into spoilers because
Yeah,
there's a lot to
heavy
talk about
spoilers.
and there's a lot of spoilers. So please tune out right now. Go watch the show. It's on HBO Max right now. Go watch him. And then once you're done, come back and listen to me and Anna literally go on a rant, go on as we explore everything as much as we can without going like, 3 hours long. We're not going to do that. But we're going to talk as much of the show as we
We
possibly
could
can.
though.
We really could. Maybe it's a side podcast. We
We'll
just
just
do
see
an
what.
it
Yeah.
side podcast. So much to talk about.
What are we gonna gush about today? Oh,
I
you remember
know.
that one scene? Let's talk about it again.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So, spoiler alert right here. We are going in. We are driving into Derry, where guess what? You don't really die. You don't really
No.
die in Derry.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, where should we start? Should we
I want to
start?
start
Oh, go
with
ahead.
this opening scene. Yeah, I think
Okay.
we should start with this opening scene because little Maddie hitching a ride out of town and just the chaos that ensues in that car with this mom giving birth to a demon baby. Very
I
graphic.
wasn't
And
ready.
I was like, in the first 10 minutes of the show, I was like, this is grosser and more effective than anything I have seen in a movie this year. Honest to goodness. I was like, okay, I'm gonna see what this is about. I'm hooked. But then it got me again at the end of episode 1. I'm already starting to fall in love with these kids, like
Hmm.
Maddie and Susie and what was it, Teddy?
Teddy. Or
Teddy?
yeah, it was Teddy.
Teddy. I was like, "Oh, they're great. They're funny. They've got great chemistry together." And then they die at the end of the first episode.
Hmm.
And I was like, "No. Like, where's our kids?" And then we meet a whole other group as the season goes on and we fall in love with them and one of them ends up dying and it's just very sad. But it's these kid actors are what make it. And like you said, it makes it that much more tense. I think what makes it so tense for the adult part of the story is just the nature of what's going on in that time period. And that's the storytelling that kind of keeps you sucked in and interested and invested until Pennywise shows back up, or until something happens and we're reminded of him. Like a guard behind the glass has got the Pennywise smile, and then
Mhm.
somebody walks by and he's gone, things like that until he finally pops up. But I love the adult storyline as well. Just everything with the racism and what's going on with the Air Force and General Shaw. I was like, oh, I really like this guy. James Remar's awesome, and he played a great character. Someone who there was a bigger picture, and he saw it,
Mhm.
or so I thought, until we get to the end, and I was like, fuck this guy. Military's gonna military.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially that like that that version of the military where you're like, you sons of bitches. And and then the end goal is like, really? Like, did anyone really think this through? Did anyone go, maybe this isn't a good idea, sir? Like I have
Yeah.
to
Did
say,
anyone question you at all?
yeah. But I think mixing the kid storyline and the adult storyline, having it kind of intertwine, I think it works so much better than for me, like than when with how the movies were broken down, where it's like the characters as kids and then those same characters as adults.
Mhm.
As much as I enjoy the movies, I think the show is structured better where you have kids situations happening with adult situations at the same, and
Right.
it's all happening at the same time. And it's the fact of like the whole thing with Pennywise or it feeds off fear. And
Mhm.
for anyone who remembers in it chapter 1, it is explained how there are like major events throughout time, and it always is 27 years apart. So this show actually takes place in 1962, which is 27 years before the events of it chapter 1.
Mhm.
Which, if you paid attention to it chapter 1, this is the black spot period, which we get to see that event, which is ultimately like the big thing for the entity to kind of consume all of that fear, and then it kind of is like, all right, nap time, see you later.
The Native Americans call it the augury. It's like one
Mhm.
last big bloody event to mark the end of the cycle, and then, yeah, he goes and takes a fat nap for 27 years.
Yeah. And I just love how the show explores all of these different things. The fact that like the military knows about this thing, like it doesn't know to
Yeah.
the what extent, but like you find out that Shaw experienced it when he was a child, which was 1908, which was during its like during a feeding period of that time.
Mhm.
And then it's him kind of trying to find it. Like you get different hints from Shaw throughout the series. Like it's like, what does he really want with the entity? Like, what does he want
Mhm.
with it? And you then have the Native Americans who know, of course, they know about it because this is where we get introduced to the pillars. And it's ultimately we're
Yes.
getting explained like why Pennywise or it is here, why it's in Derry, and that's it. Like it doesn't, we're not seeing the story in a different part of the country. It's always in Derry, Maine. Why is it always here?
Right.
Well, it was trapped here. Like this was like Derry sits where it was like the Black Woods or like the Blackened Woods. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but like it's where it like they just were like the idiot white people built a town here where there's this
Mhm.
evil entity. They didn't know, but we did, but we weren't going to stop them because fuck them guys.
Right, yeah. Always the white people coming in and
Oh,
screwing everything up.
and always fucking it up.
But I
And
do love that they were like, "Oh, well, since we can't figure out how to kill it, we're at least gonna contain it so
mhm.
it can't get out." And then once again, here comes Shaw and the
Hmm.
military. And it's like, "No, I think it's gonna be a good idea to just let him out."
But the funny thing is like, and this is kind of like my negative to the show, or just my negative to like this world is like, so what is the point of keeping this quiet and allowing people to die all the time in Derry? Like every 27 years,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who die and they just disappear and no one ever finds them. Like when all these kids disappear, they never find the bodies unless you
No, they're
find
just gone.
Pennywise's little lair down there where they're all floating around. But like,
I
no,
know.
it's like, because for instance, we meet the original group of kids, which contains a relative of a character that will show up in It Chapter 1. So Stanley Uris is
Mhm.
one of the main members of the Losers Club, and his
Mhm.
uncle is Teddy Uris. Now you hear his name, so initially you're like, maybe this is Stanley's dad, because you never hear his name. You see Stanley's dad in the movies, but you never know
Mhm.
his name. So you're like, oh, maybe this
And
is
then
his
at
dad.
and then at the dinner table in the show, we see an older brother there, so
Yeah.
once Teddy meets his demise, we're like, "Oh, well, I
Oh,
guess he
okay.
wasn't the dad, he was the uncle."
But so we know just based on the movie that Stanley's dad stayed in Derry because that's where the kids
Yes.
live, right? And then
Mhm.
we find another little tidbit, which I kind of figured about what was this? What was this? 8 episodes. So
Mhm.
about 6 episodes in, I figured one character was also a relative of one of the losers,
Mhm.
and that is Marge, who is the one who forms a beautiful, cute, adorable relationship with one of the best characters in the show, Rich. I'm gonna call him Rich because Richie is the losers club member
Club.
there. Yeah.
Right.
Who you
Mhm.
find out Marge is his mom, which I kind of
What?
figured. I kind of
Marley
figured.
Marley guessed it. She
Did she
was like,
call
"What if
it?
Mar—" Yeah, she did, and then, man, she got so hyped once it was confirmed. She's like, "I told you, I knew it." I was like, "Hell yeah, you got your theory right." But I
So
love how he decided to weave that in and connect them.
mhm,
And then at the end of the season, when Pennywise confronts her on the ice, I think that's one of the best scenes in the whole series. But once again, lore, connecting characters and explaining things, without so much, just like shoving it in your face. We're letting the viewers figure it out. But
right.
also, if you haven't seen the movies, this is a prequel, so you're not going to be necessarily confused by anything. You'll
No.
just connect more dots after you watch the movies.
Exactly. I think I think my question is, and leave a comment if you have your answer, or and if you have your thought on it, is so Stanley's dad stays in Derry, Marge stays in Derry, grows up and has Richie and all that. No one's gonna say anything. Like Marge went through this whole experience. Like she's just like when she starts seeing kids disappearing in Derry again, like there's no like, ah, shit. What is it? Oh, it's 27 years. Oh no.
Oh no, he's woke up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've wondered that too. I haven't really been able to like figure anything out. The only thing that me and Marley said could be it is that maybe she did leave for a period of time.
Oh,
Like maybe she left to go to college or something like that, and then over time,
you forget.
maybe a death in the family, whatnot, and you come back to Derry, but she didn't necessarily remember what happened because she had
Right.
maybe been gone for long enough.
That
But Mike never left, so that
right.
explains why they always remembered.
Well, he never left because he couldn't. Like he was like invested in that. And also we find out that
Right.
like the Hanlon family is like they are the keeper of they're the ones that have to pretty much help contain it to to Derry and to try to prevent, I guess, a lot of death.
Mhm.
But that makes a lot of sense because in It Chapter 2, you find out that the farther away you move from Derry, the more you forget. Because like when they
Right.
come back as adults, they forget everything. Like most of them forget they were even friends. They were just like,
I
"Who's this
know.
again?" Oh yeah, but as like the more time they spend back in Derry is when everything starts to flood back and they remember. So yeah, that does make sense. Like yeah, maybe she did leave for a bit and then came back and was just like it's there. She has some she may be like, this seems
Yeah,
familiar, but it's like it's not clicking.
right. There's like a familiarity, like something like deja vu, but not
Right.
necessarily her remembering experiencing it. Maybe that explains why maybe she subconsciously named Richie after Rich, not even realizing she was doing it.
That could be it too. Yeah.
Because if she did move away and she forgot about Derry, then she would forget about Rich.
True.
So it would have to be a subconscious
God,
thing.
that's so sad. That's so sad to think about. How could you
That's so
forget?
sad.
He's
I
God,
know.
little oh man, so good.
I
Uh,
guess he never did get it to Main Street, did he?
oh
My heart.
man. It's like there's a lot of emotion in this show, a lot of investment in characters, and
For sure. I love that though. I wanna care about characters. I wanna be emotionally
exactly.
invested in the
Yeah.
story. Not the scares are great, obviously, I'm here for that always, but I want a good story to go along with it to keep me invested.
This show has a perfect blend of story, of character development, and like I said earlier, like this is Bill Skarsgård's best collective performance as Pennywise.
Yeah.
It's scarier the way that he like I think the his look and the makeup and the way that they got him to look in certain episodes.
Mhm.
He's just so much more to him compared to what we got in the two movies. Which are
Yeah.
still fantastic performances, of course, but I think there's more to Pennywise in this show, and I think that's what benefits it being an 8 episode series where we're getting 8 hours worth of, well, we got more like 5 hours worth of this character in this compared to, let's say 3, 4 hours in the movies. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just so good. The writing is fantastic. I know people have issues with the writing of the show, and I can see certain things like why. I think one of the things was like from episode one was what is the baby, like the flying demon baby, like what is that fear? And to be honest, I don't really know. I know like his thing is he doesn't have a good home life, right? Maddie doesn't
Yeah,
have a good
that's
home
true.
life, so he gets picked up by this nuclear family, like
Mhm.
perfect family, and then it all starts to fall apart, and then yeah, this is when the demon baby gets born and everything starts to happen. But yeah, I can see that, but I kind of moved past it because it doesn't hang on that. Like
Yeah.
it does what
Maybe
it
it
does, and then we move on to like the next chapter.
yeah. Maybe it was, pulling more from the mother's fears. Like, maybe she was afraid of giving birth and birthing some
Ooh.
kinda demon baby, and maybe Pennywise was like, "Hey, that's a good idea. I'm gonna use this. I bet this
Hmm.
kid'll be scared of that," and he was, so
I think what's so good, I mean, there's so many aspects of the show that's so good, but like I think what I love about Pennywise is when you look at like Tim Curry's Pennywise, he's very much a circus clown. Like
Yeah.
he does a lot of like circus clown acts and then also is the demonic version of him. Where I
Mhm.
think Bill Skarsgård is very much like he's a child himself. Like
Mhm.
Pennywise is very childlike. Like he's feeding off your fear, but he wants attention, right? And that's why
Mhm.
he's constantly being Pennywise, right? Because we actually get our introduction or like kind of our origin story of why it took the persona of Pennywise. And we get like a
Brilliant.
whole half an episode of Bob Gray and his act at the traveling, it's not even the circus, it's like a traveling carnival, it's like a freak
Mhm.
show type thing.
Kinda thing, yeah.
Yeah, where we get a glimpse of Bob Gray in It Chapter 2. We get a picture, and we meet Mrs. Kirch, an older
Mhm.
Mrs. Kirch, who you find out isn't actually her. But now we're getting, like, the true origin, where it's like we get to see Bob Gray as Pennywise, the dancing clown, doing his acts. He doesn't
Yeah.
talk at all in his act, which I thought was great compared because it's like a contrast of, like, who Pennywise is compared to like the demonic version of Pennywise. Like Pennywise is always
Very true.
talking. He's
Mhm.
very vocal and it's perfect. And we get to he's got a daughter who we find out is Mrs. Kirch. She's
Mhm.
Periwinkle.
Plot
We get to
twist.
It's so good.
It was.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is I knew because the fact that like they talk about it in it chapter 2. Like she talks about
Mhm.
how her father was in the circus, and then Bev sees the picture of Bob Gray and Mrs. Kirch. So you're like, when you find out who Mrs. Kirch is, you're like, oh shit. And then like things start to unravel, but like this whole origin I thought was perfectly done.
I
And
thought
we
so
get to
too.
like just to get to see like how the entity who is a child at this point in time is seeing Pennywise and like how he is attracting all these children. And he's like, that's it. How am I going to get
That's the
my
ticket.
how am I going to get the kids? How am I going to be able to eat it a lot faster? I need to be that. And
Mhm.
I'm sorry. If a creepy child wanders out of a woods and is like just dead staring at me, just like, yeah, so that screaming lady, she needs help. I'm not going in there. You know what I'm doing? I'm going this way, and I'm going, hey guys, there's this kid over here. I think something's going on in the woods. I can hear screaming, but I'm not going in there by myself, and I'm not going in there with that creepy kid. Come look at this kid. It's creepy as shit.
Creepy as shit.
But he's just like, yeah, okay, whatever, and just
It's a
wanders
kid.
in.
It's harmless,
Yeah,
right? That's
yeah.
probably what he was thinking.
And yeah, you don't like see him get attacked. You don't see anything. You just that's it. He's gone.
He's yeah.
And
Bloody
so
handkerchief.
the bloody handkerchief with his initials on it, and that's it. And I thought it was a perfect origin. And it was good to see Bill being Bob Gray as the real
Yeah.
Bob Gray. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And then
I thought so too.
I think the like weaving the whole thing where like Mrs. Kirch thinks that Pennywise is her dad.
That was wild to me. And honestly, one of the biggest twists that I didn't see coming was her dressing up as Periwinkle as an adult and
Yeah.
getting all this started. And like that was her in the pictures when they were developing them and they were in the woods in the little cemetery thing. And that was her. I was like, "No way, that's creepy." That was like serial killer vibes when Lily's in the attic and she sees that damn wig on a mannequin and then the pictures. Oh, that was so creepy. I thought it was so well done. And it like it wasn't even at the hands of Pennywise. It was at the hands of his daughter
Mm-hmm.
or Bob Gray's daughter that she had lost her mind. And then once she saw him when she was working at the asylum, that didn't help the case, obviously,
No.
because she sees him in front of her face, but it's not him. And
Right.
it just blows my mind. It took her as long as it did to realize that wasn't him. That's not your
Mm-hmm.
papa. That's something else.
It
Like,
literally
why did it take you that long?
right. It took her right up to the point where she, it's at right after like a massive event.
Yeah.
And she's like the things that she is seeing, but still somehow thinks it's possibly could be her father. Is like this man, this thing is eating the top of someone's head, the top of your husband's head, by the way. And
He
you're
did her a solid on that one,
yeah,
though.
he
Just
did.
saying.
He did
Thanks,
help her out. That guy sucked. But the fact is, like, this man is literally eating the top of your husband's head, and you're still like, Papa? And you're like, no, what are you talking about? Like, you're so,
Not papa.
she's so far gone. It's just there's no turning back.
And because she tipped off the police about where Hank was,
So she
it's her fault. It's
ultimately
her
helped
fault.
him. Yeah, she ultimately was the cause of it all, which is unfortunate. I guess we could talk about the black spot episode, which is probably one of the toughest episodes of the whole show. Just because the thing about this show is like it takes place in the 60s, as you mentioned. It's like it's not just the fact of kids going missing, kids dying. It's like no, we're talking about like we're talking about there's still tension, like Cold War tension. There is of course racial divide and it's discrimination and all of this like rampant. And we're in Maine, by the way, which is a weird state to be doing this in. But it's like I think what it truly stems from is like just a lot of evil people out there. But it's like, is it causing this? Is it stirring the pot? Right? Like, is it helping kind of culminate all of these things? It's orchestrating these different things to kind of all the things fall in line. It's like then that's when the event happens. So like yes, she Mrs. Kirch thinks that Pennywise is her father. So how does she draw him out? By causing a massive like event that causes a lot of fear and death and all of that.
Yeah.
And but it's also like this is something that has actually happened in in real life. We have a black establishment, where people are just trying to have a good time, and people, they're racist pieces of shit come in. They're just looking for one guy, and because a community is standing with somebody, because they believe that the things that he's being accused of he didn't do, then everything falls into place in a negative way, and that's when we get the black spot, which is just it is horrific in every aspect.
Awful. And like I did love when they came in and the guys pulled their guns too. They were like, "Yeah, we're armed too." And they just took such a pussy way out.
Mhm.
They're like, "Okay, we're leaving." And then they trap them in there. Like, they don't even fight fair. It's just gross and sad, like,
Mhm.
all around, and so infuriating. Like, stuff like that just boils my blood. It really does, and it's just, oh god,
But
sad.
when you have a Bowers leading the pack, you know
Fucking
something bad's gonna
Bowers.
happen because,
I know, I think I said that
whoo,
100 times a season. Fucking Bowers, man.
yeah. As soon as you see that character, as soon as you see his name placard on his desk and it says Bowers,
I
you're
was
like,
like, "Here we go.
"Fuck, man."
Here
Because
we go."
having just rewatched the movies and Henry is like the main, like other than Pennywise, like Henry Bowers is like the main antagonist, and he is awful. Like he is one of those bullies where it's like he's not even he is a sociopath, psychopath. Like he is all the paths put together, and he's just
All
a
the path.
piece of like an absolute piece of trash. And
Yeah.
like the thing, like because we all grew up with bullies, and bullying is bad in every aspect of it. But
Mhm.
what Henry would do to people is like, dude, like even when your friends are like, bro, what are you doing?
What are you doing? That's
Yeah, like
something you might need to step back a little bit.
he starts to carve his initials into Ben. You're like,
I
his
know,
friend's
that's
like,
what
yo, bro, like what the hell? Like,
he flips the knife out and they're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa."
okay. So yeah, when you see a Bowers, you know bad shit's gonna happen. And as soon as that episode ends, when they pull up and they're talking
Yeah.
to the couple outside, and you're like, oh
Mhm.
boy.
I liked that guy too.
Yeah, all those guys were great. Like everybody,
Mhm.
like being like the brotherhood that all of these guys had, and then like the fact that like you have quote unquote convicted like murderer there, and you're like, yeah, fuck you, like nope, like we're I don't know what you're talking about. And even Dick, who is
Nope.
like always on the fence, like he's never on one side or the other, and he's just like, dude, we're just trying to have a good time. Can you get the fuck out of here?
Mhm.
Like get out.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's awful, how gruesome it is, how the fact that it switches so drastically where it's like everyone is having a great time. You got Rich on the drums, he's just rocking out.
Killing it.
And then everything goes bad, it's awful. And then while all these horrific things are happening, who the fuck shows up but Pennywise? And he's
Yeah.
taunting Dick, who, for anyone who
Mhm.
doesn't know the character Dick Halloran, he was a character from The Shining, worked at the Overlook Hotel. He has what's called the Shine, which is
Mhm.
pretty much he can. It's hard to explain like what the Shine is. Like he could pretty much see dead people. It's kind of like that, and he can communicate with the dead. He can. It's something that's hard to control, but he is able to like master it, and then bad things happen where like we talked about it, like his grandmother also had the Shine, and she
Mhm.
showed him how to like lock all of the evil things that were kind of torturing him in a box. And then his
Mhm.
douchebag grandfather, uh who Pennywise was able to manipulate in like this vision, kind of broke the
Mhm.
box open. So like we get to see
Yeah.
Dick before that, and then after, where he is having to deal with the fact that he is seeing dead people everywhere. They're just like
Mhm.
torturing him.
And he
And
also had to, like, get their attention because at that moment, he was seeing the ghost. Because you remember he tells Leroy, like, "Well, they're just kinda there,
mhm,
and they know I'm here, but we don't really, like, talk to each other. We don't really acknowledge each other." But as soon as he yelled at one and got their attention, then everything changed,
mhm.
and they were just all over him.
Yeah, like there was the one scene after the black spot fire where he's like sitting on a log, and they're like all of his friends,
Yeah.
like just like crowding him, like all over him, and it's such a crazy visual. And Chris Chalk, we've already gave him his roses, but we're gonna give him more of the fact of just
Give him
how
some more.
good he is in this show, and how good he is at just expressing every type of emotion of being a character who is haunted by his past, his ability, and ultimately what he has to endure to ultimately defeat, Pennywise by the end of the show, or at least to
Mhm.
assist in defeating Pennywise in the show. And I would love a Dick Halloran like sideshow. Like a show that just focuses on him and his. I mean, he's got the shine, so it's kind of like The
Mhm.
Shining, but it's Dick's point of view.
I'll be
Before
here for
the
that.
yeah, just him, doing what he's got to do and dealing with different things. It could be it'd
Yeah.
be very interesting, and I wouldn't be mad about it if it got announced tomorrow.
No, me neither. I love whenever he's like, he's barely holding it together, and
Mhm.
Shaw or Leroy One will be like, "How you doing?" He's like, "The fuck's it look like I'm doing?" He'll just cuss them, and he don't even
So
care if
honest.
they're his superior or not. I loved it so
He's
much.
so
Um,
honest.
and even at the end of the season, like the zinger kind of shining quote, and he's like, "Oh, my buddy works in a hotel. I'm gonna take some cooking classes." I mean, how bad can a hotel be, anyways? I was like, "Yes." I
Yes.
love that zinger. It was
So
so
good.
good. Like, this is the fan service I like. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily like, I don't know, beating you over the head with things we know. Because like we've said, it's a prequel, so you can watch this without any knowledge of it or The Shining or anything and still enjoy it for what it is. But for the fans that know where the lore and everything connects in this big universe, it just makes it even more better. Even better.
I mean, they built like everything that they built when it comes to the lore and like the reasonings why this happens and this happens, I think was just so beautifully crafted to the point
It
where it's just
works.
like, guys, we finally got an answer to why it is like why it stays here. Like, yes, it crashed here millions of years ago, whenever they said, but it's like, but why did it just stay in Derry? Like, if it's this cosmic entity, why wasn't it just able to just go whatever the hell it wanted? Well, guess what? We're going to tell you. And it
Yep.
gives us this awesome. I love the episode where Dick goes into Taniel's head and he talks to a
Yeah.
young Taniel, and then Taniel gets the story told to him by Rose of do you remember what they called it? What the end
Glue.
Galoo,
Mhm.
which was awesome. This
Yeah.
whole origin of like of the entity of like we get to see the crash site again, which is the final battle of it chapter 2, and the fact that
Mhm.
there's these shards from the not really the craft, but like where it landed, like it's this
Mhm.
weird metallic like rock that they find, and they find out that it can like deter it, like it's afraid of it or something.
Yeah.
Because from
Mhm.
what I have read, and I've read a bunch of theories and all that, is that it was cast out from whatever its home world is, like it was like banished, and so this is where
Okay.
it lives because it was, he's as he loves to tell people to show puff out his chest, because that's what it again, Pennywise is a child, or
Mhm.
the it is a child. It likes to puff out his chest and proves like, I'm the eater of worlds, which
Mhm.
is so funny, especially in one context we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's great to see like it in a different form, because like back in that time, he wasn't Pennywise. He was only Pennywise from like 1908 forward, because he takes on whatever he sees.
Right.
And so we see like it's all the natives of Derry before it was Derry. They find it, and they find these shards. And I love that it takes the form of like just a white settler. Like,
Mhm.
who are the natives going to be most afraid of at this point in time? White settlers who are coming in
Mhm.
and taking their land and doing all that. And it's
Smart.
yeah, and that's why he's so like it is so effective, is it is able to it doesn't need to know you for very long. It can figure it out. It can sniff you. It smells you. It's a predator, and
Like, he hadn't seen Francis in 60 something
oh,
years, and he walked by him, and he was gonna
oh,
let him live too, just like fucking Mrs. Kirsch. He was gonna leave him alone. And she, grabbed his arm, and he was like, "Hold up, you don't touch me like that." But he smelled Francis, and he was like, "Oh, I never forget a smell." And then when he does this and changes to the same being he was scared of as a little boy, was just a great touch. I loved it.
oh man, the finale is a whole conversation. It's
Yeah.
but yeah, but like getting to see the origin of it, and getting to see kind of how the natives have tried to keep it at bay. It knows the cycle. and it knows everything. It's pretty much everything that Mike finds out in order to defeat it in It Chapter 2. So to get to see, I love that we see Rose's antique shop, which is the shop that Bill buys his bike back that Stephen King owns or runs in It Chapter 2,
In
which
the
I thought was
movie.
great. Yep.
Marley pointed that out. I didn't even make the connection. She was like, "That's that antique shop from the movie." I was like, "Nuh-uh," and then we looked it up, and I was like, "Yeah, it is."
So
Love
cool.
stuff like that too.
And it's one of those things where we also see, like, there was the butcher who's Mr. Kirch, who when we first meet him, he seems like a really cool, like, he seems like a really nice guy, like, but then you see like a fight happening outside and no one's doing shit about it, and they're like, and Mrs. Hanlon's like, is anyone gonna stop this?
Yeah.
And it just shows like you're kind of questioning, like, why are the adults like this? Like, why are they ignoring, like, all of this violence? Because it's very similar to the scene where Ben is getting carved by Henry, and
Right.
that car drives by, and they're just like,
Just keep going, yeah.
But then you see the balloon in the back, and so it's one of those, like, it's always the thing about this show, and the thing about this kind of this, I don't know, franchise, if you want to call it, is
At this point, yeah.
it's hard. It's one of those things where, like, it can manipulate time and space. So it's one of those, what's real and what's not real. Even the most basic things you have to, like, kind of question, like, what is this reality, or is this just him kind of putting this mist over the town, which we later see that he literally puts a mist over the town and kind of fogs everybody's brains to kind of like, don't do anything. Let the fear kind of ooze out of somebody, because, like, that kid's getting his ass kicked, so clearly he's scared.
Yeah.
That's what Pennywise wants, and so maybe there's some sort of weird thing going on with him and the adults. Like, he eats the kids, but he fucks with the adults' brains to be like, don't worry about it. Yeah, there's 75 missing kids, but don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't even bother. Don't even bother looking. We're just gonna keep on posting missing children pamphlets everywhere.
I know. And so we got to talk about too how Marge was kind of a shit at the start of the season, because I was very much on the fuck Marge train, and then she, just like anyone who has, makes an error or fucks up, she saw the error in her ways and apologized and realized she was wrong. And that made all the difference. And I just loved once we see her, like, get out of the patty cake wanting to be cool phase and just go be freaks with your friends. Go be losers with your friends, because they're the ones who are going to care about you more anyways.
Yeah, Marge is definitely, I think her arc is wonderfully done. Of course, she's a girl who just wants to fit in, right? She wants to be part of the popular club, and we all grew up with someone who was like that, who you may have been friends with at one point, and then they went and became friends with people you wouldn't have any care for, like, to be friends with, and that's just the way of life. And of course, like, she's friends with Lily, who in everybody's eyes, she's crazy because she was in the mental institution, and so, of course, like, and if Marge wants to be part of the cool kid club, she can't be friends with the weirdo. She can't be friends with the freak.
Right,
so you kind of get that dynamic, of course, and you meet Will Hanlon, who, of course, is a character who is just blatantly, like, we know he's that's Mike's dad. Like, it's Mike's dad. And it's also sad because, like, you watch the show and you really invest yourself into all these characters, but you also know the future. So, like, what happens to Will later on down the road. But this show does something that kind of makes you go, what if, though? So at the end of the series, in the season finale, which I will say, one of the best season finales I've ever seen in my life.
So satisfying.
It does everything right. It does everything right. It's sad. Like, by the time it's over, like, it's one of those episodes where, like, you don't even have to go through the whole show again. You could just go back and rewatch that final episode, and just, it's so satisfying. Everything they do is just like, yep, perfect. Like, they had a list, they went down it, and everything worked out great. But I don't even know what the hell I was going with this, but
I don't either. We were
I
talking
don't
about
either.
Marge, and
We
then
were talking about Marge, and then I
and
jumped into
Lily.
something else. This is what happens.
Speaking of Lily, Marley found a theory online somewhere. I think that it was that Lily is Henry Bauer's mom, or one of the Bowers' moms.
Ooh.
And I haven't looked any further into it. She told me that earlier, and I was like,
I don't like it.
"What?" I was like,
I don't
"Why would
like it.
Lily end up with a Bowers?" I know, I wouldn't either, but
I don't
she's
like it.
also crazy Lily.
So I also saw a theory that she's Bev's mom, but I also saw a picture
Her name
of
was
a
different though.
girl. It was her mom. I don't know. Did they ever say her mom's name? Bev's mom?
Yeah, they said it on, I watched a clip from that episode when we see the end of it, like, after
Oh,
everything's said and done,
okay.
and they said the mom's name, but it's something weird and not anything I can remember right off.
The only reason that I could like believe that theory if we didn't get a name was the fact that like Bev's mom kills herself.
Right.
And it's 27 years after. So it
Elfrida. That's her name.
oh, okay.
Elfrida Marsh.
I mean, she was at the school when Pennywise takes them all because I think she's
Yeah,
technically in the show.
true.
So could she have done it because knowing maybe she found out the whole thing of like 27 years later, he comes back, he does his
'Cause
thing.
did you see, in the girls' bathroom stall, somebody had written Alvin Marsh and put a heart around it? Uh-huh.
Oh,
So it could have been her.
and then I would
So,
have
yeah,
went
you're
in
right,
there.
they were all there.
I've been like Marty McFly would have showed up in that school and be like, fuck that guy. That guy sucks. He's a fucking creep. God, I rewatching the two movies. Bev's dad is so disgusting. Like he makes you like
Ugh.
just it's just gross. It's just like why stop it right now. He's just a terrible person all the way around. So that
Yeah,
was
it's an awful, like, it's just an awful, I don't know,
situation.
thing to
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
that's kind of the kind of thing I don't like really in movies, stuff like, or shows for that matter, but it does it just enough to where it's like, "Okay, I see what you're going for," but it doesn't get too gross with it like in the movies, you
Mhm.
know?
But yeah, I think the kids' relationships are all great. I mean, the fact that we were talking about Marge earlier and the fact of like her arc and then her kind of being, after her incident, where she kind of goes through her greatest fear, which is like when she gets the bug eyes, which is an effect that doesn't look great in my opinion. I think the CG
No,
in
it
the
looks
show is
terrible.
very hit and miss. That is kind of one of my very
That's
few negatives. Is
that's
like
mine too, yeah.
the eye thing was like, it doesn't look too super good. I
It
would have
didn't.
loved if it was like practical. I would have loved if they like were able to do some sort of practical
But just with, like, how
thing.
simple they even went with that CGI, I kinda
Yeah.
feel like they could have done that
Hmm.
practical. Like,
Yeah.
there is a ton of CGI in this show, which, like you said, it's hit and miss. And CGI, I don't think CGI is all bad.
No.
I think CGI becomes all bad when that's all you use, when you can be creative and be practical,
Right.
and, when you can, you know what I mean? And, like, the ending scene, I felt like CGI was good with that, everything they did with the lake,
Hmm.
but yeah, even the demon baby flying around. I was like,
Yeah.
"Why couldn't y'all just put that on a puppet and put some string and, have, like, 6 different people tugging on it?" You could do something like that. So they go a little far with it for my taste, but I can put it aside for how good everything else is.
Yeah. Yeah. The CG is very, like I said, it's not all bad. It is very hit and miss. Like I didn't like the eyes. The demon baby was, yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
But like the dad in the jars, like so Lily's dad, you find
That
out
was
that his
bad too.
it was kind of I liked the whole thing where she's in the grocery store and like she's in the pickle aisle and then the one jar turns and it's his face, but the fact of like it crashing down and then like all of his body parts like form into this big blob and then like
Yeah.
she's getting choked out and it was like they went just a tad too far and not to the fact of being like uncomfortable. It was just like it just started to look it like not good. It's like
Bad.
visually bad. Like
Yeah.
it starts like its tongue and stuff. I'm like, what are we like? Just tone it back a little bit. Like I think it would have been great if things just moved a little slower. Everything has to be so fast paced. Like things have
Mhm.
to like the demon baby. Of course they need to use CGI because it's flying around and so sporadically and attacking them. But I agree. I think it would have been better. Like if things just moved a little slower, it's still scary. Like we
Mhm.
don't need all this like fast paced stuff. Um,
Right.
but when we get like things with Pennywise, I think it's all done wonderfully.
Oh,
Even
yeah, for
when he
sure.
turns into something that can't be practical. So when we
Mhm.
see like his form at the end, when he turns into like this
Dude,
big bat,
that
or
was wild, and then
yeah,
just the way he's coming in like a damn eagle to
hmm
get him at the end with his back feet, I was like, "Oh," just seconds.
he looks like the
Seconds.
Creeper from Jeepers Creepers,
Yeah, he
which
did.
I know it was an inspiration for that. So maybe it's kind of like hey, we see your inspiration, we're going to take that and we're going to do this. So maybe that was the case, but I don't know. I don't have any proof of that, but it seems to make a little sense. But yeah, and then of course one of the best characters in the show, Rich, little Rich.
Oh, Rich.
God, he's so goddamn this character. And
This fucking kid, man.
there is not one moment of this show where I'm like, yeah, I'm not a big fan of this guy. Like he
Never.
is awesome
He's
from
so
beginning to
good.
end, and he is just so genuine. And the fact that like he has been trying to get Marge's attention all this time, and she's kind of just blown him off or like not giving him the time of day, and he still is just like the nicest kid. Like he doesn't
Mhm.
bully, he doesn't do it. I mean, he is bullied, so of
Yeah.
course he's on the receiving end of it. But um, I love like the foreshadowing shots that we get, like when he sees Marge going down the hallway, and you get the fire reflecting in her glasses, and it's
Yeah,
like
I saw
if you're
that.
not really paying attention when his unfortunately when his death happens, he dies in a fire, which is
Yep.
kind of like which I thought was well done. Like it's something so subtle. Like it's there. It's like
Mhm.
you're not gonna miss it. It's like fire in her glasses. But if
Yeah.
maybe you don't understand the reference, but then when he dies in the way that he does, you're like, oof, all right.
Now it makes sense, yeah. It coulda just been us or him thinking, "Oh, wow, she's hot," and that's why
Yeah,
he
yeah,
sees flames in her
exactly.
glasses. But
Exactly.
him, like, propped up against the lockers in his little band uniform with his
So,
mouth full of a sandwich or something, just
so
staring
good.
at her. It's so freaking
So
cute,
good.
man.
But
Yeah,
he
he's just an absolute gem, just one of
yeah.
the standout stars of this show. I mean, they all are they're all amazing, but Rich, he's just we're gonna be talking about him for a while. The it's he's the viral meme from this show
Oh,
with the last
absolutely.
at the end with
Oh,
the bird.
yes. Yes. Boy, that season finale again, great, one of the best. And we've been fed well this year when it comes to TV. With the
Man,
Penguin, Last of Us wasn't great, but
I never even finished it.
we've been fed well when it comes to
Mhm.
TV in 2025, and this was just the icing on the cake, like of just
Man.
how well it was put together. And the fact of like we go through this regular cycle as it goes through, and because the black spot was its final meal, like it ate off all of
Mhm.
that fear, and then it's like, all right, I'm gonna go to bed now. And it's you find out what the military is really doing by destroying the pillar. And because Shaw's big stupid plan, which wow, it's funny how politics now are just so like they haven't changed in 60 years.
Not
The
a
f-
damn bit.
no.
You
They're
know
like,
what? Russia's not the problem after all. We're the problem.
"Oh, we've
So why don't we just unleash this motherfucker in our backyard and let him kill as many Americans as he can?
it
Because he needs to eradicate the problem that is like how does he word it? Like the generations are going downhill pretty
yeah,
much. Like every new generation gets shittier and shittier, which I mean that there's an argument to be had there, but you don't have to unleash Pennywise to get your
no."
point across.
That's the thing, is like he literally like throughout the season, Shaw, of course he's a general, so there's some nefarious shit going on. But he is always so gentle and kind to
He pulled the
everyone
wool over
around
my eyes
him.
a little bit.
Oh, yeah. And especially when you get to see a flashback of him encountering it, in 1908. And then, you
Yeah.
know, you see like him and Rose had a relationship at one point, and then they haven't seen each other since then or whatever it was. And but then when you find out like what he really wants to do, it's like literally in his like his villain speech, he talks about, he's like, you know, women have rights, and like, you
That's
know,
right.
and
Yeah, he says,
and the, you know, and black people want to be included with us and all this, that, and the other. I was like, oh shit,
"Oh,
okay,
damn,
yep, He's like,
this
I
sucks."
want people to, because I don't think he really understood the power of Pennywise or understood the power of it. He wanted people to be scared again. Like he wanted people to like kind of fall in line. I was like, yeah, there was a
Yeah.
guy who did that back in the 40s. It didn't work out for him. It
No, it
kind of
didn't.
went to shit, and thank God for that. This isn't gonna work out, pal. And the fact that it all like blows up in his face, it's so good. Like, fuck you, Shaw. Like, I wish we actually saw him. Like the fact that it's just the bite and it cuts away. I kind of wish we went back to his body and was like, yeah, fuck you, Shaw. You
I
suck.
was still cheering though because at that point, and he's like, "Stop! Don't you talk to me that way." I was like, "Who the fuck do you think you are? Like you have no idea what you've done or what you've unleashed, but you think you do because you're a know-it-all. Guess what? You don't know shit about what's about to happen to you." And when he chomped down, me and Marley both started cheering. We're like, "Heck
So
yeah!"
yeah, fuck that
This
guy.
is how this is what I said to Marley. I was like, "I love in movies like this or shows like this when." Yeah, we're not for the villain because we don't want him to kill our cast that we love, but every now and then they do us a solid and
Mm-hmm.
kill some people we don't like, and that's when it's glorious, and that's why we cheer for them sometimes.
Yeah, when
Because Mr. Kirsch
yeah,
and then General Shaw,
yeah,
fuck them,
fuck those guys. But
fuck them.
I mean, everything that leads up to that. I mean, the fact that like when they destroy the pillar, Pennywise is set free, and like he's literally sleeping, like he's going to bed for 27 years. Like we're not supposed to see him until the events of It Chapter 1. But the
Right?
fact that like this pillar wakes him up again because he's like, freedom? Like I'm let out of my
Yeah,
cage. All
yeah,
right,
I
I'm
can leave
waking up.
now.
I'm gonna go eat some more, and then
Yeah,
maybe I'll take a longer nap later. Like
yeah,
I love that we get to see him actually sleeping, and I love that he's just sleeping as Pennywise. Like he doesn't like
hmm,
as again, he doesn't have a true form. So it's like he just picks one that he likes a lot, which is Pennywise, and he goes with it. And I love that we get that iconic look where
oh,
he's sleeping in the blood, and he's always from his nose down to his toes, he is covered in blood, and it's
red.
love. I love that imagery and the fact that he never goes back to like the normal
I
Pennywise
know.
look. And
For the next 2 episodes, he stays that way, or well, I guess
oh,
next full episode, the end of the last one, but yeah, we see him that way for the whole finale, which
it's
just makes that finale even better.
it. Oh, the mass exodus of like the kids at the school, and him like leading them
Yeah.
like the Pied Piper back to his
Mhm.
lair in the Pennywise cart as he's playing the job. Like, this is so fucking good. This is what
It was
I've
so good.
I've wanted with Pennywise. Like, this character is just being written perfectly for me, and I'm eating it all up, and I am enjoying every bit of it. And you know,
Me too.
his conversations with the kids and how he talks, and Bill Skarsgård is just, he is having an absolute blast with this. And one of my favorite behind the scenes clips of him from this season was the phone call with Will, where he at first he is oh, what the heck is her name? Ronnie. When he's Ronnie on the phone, but
Yeah.
then it turns into Pennywise. And in the behind the scenes, it's the actress playing Ronnie, and it's Bill Skarsgård dressed up as Pennywise, wearing like a zip up sweatshirt, and she's on one mic reading the line, and then he's also reading the line, and they're sitting next to each other as that is
Oh,
being projected, and like you have the actor playing Will on the phone, like, you know, saying what he's
that's
saying,
fun.
and
I
then
like
of
that.
course that great shot as he turns around and Pennywise is on top of the fridge, and it's just like, ah,
Nightmare fuel.
God, it's so good. But you know, Marge getting told who she is, and kind of where that was a moment where I'm sitting there going, wait, what? Why does he know this? Like, so it's pretty much, that's where I went, well, now what if? Where, you know, we were talking about the fact that Will would die in the future, right? Mike, because he's Mike's
Mhm.
dad, and you find out Mike's parents died in a fire. And it's in the fact that Pennywise literally goes, your boy and his friends will end me, will kill me, or
The seed of your stinking loins and
loins.
his friend. Oh, man, that's a
Yeah.
beautiful line.
Well,
"Bring me my death,
death.
or is it birth?" I don't know which
Exactly.
one.
And that's the line where you're like, you find out that he is not set in a certain time. He can kind of go, he can travel backwards, he can travel forwards. He is not here and then 27 years later here. He can be anywhere. And
I think
it's
some of that is explained more to, like, not necessarily pinpointing Pennywise and Derry per se, but it's explained more in, I think Lil D was telling me it might be the Dark Tower series. I could be wrong. One of the series where it kind of goes into more of the Stephen King universe and how everything connects and what brings them all together. And I think that's tied into it somehow. I think it was Lil D that was telling me that because we were talking about Dreamcatcher, and then he's been watching Welcome to Derry too. So Stephen King's been everywhere in all conversations here
it's
lately.
never a bad conversation to have. Like,
No.
yes, there are bad Stephen King stuff out there. I will never talk bad about one of my favorite movies, Maximum Overdrive. But
It's a good one.
I mean,
Is
we
he
get
dead?
because this ATM called me an asshole.
Mm.
Love it. Love it. Oh, man. But yeah, it's just Pennywise at the end of the show is just perfectly crafted. And the fact we also get like the fact that Dick is like, he's able to go into Pennywise's mind and kind of fuck with him. And I
That is
love that
epic.
scene so much. Like the fact that he's
He
like
just big
talking,
backs him.
he's talking shit to Marge. And then that whole thing where he freezes and you're just like, what the fuck? Like, why is he doing this? But then you find out that Dick is in his head. Like, that's where we get
I was
one of
like,
my
"Dick's in his
favorite.
head. He's in there."
I love this scene so much because I love it's, it, it doesn't know what to do. Like, it doesn't know where it is. It doesn't know, like, the fact that he's being talked to like he's Bob Gray. He's like, I'm not Bob Gray. He's like, I am the eater of worlds. And I just like no one gives a shit. I was like,
Yeah, they
he's
don't
saying
care.
it like a child. Like he's,
Mhm.
and it's so good. He like gets
Wanting attention.
backhanded, but then of course, he finds out that it is Dick and he's able to wake up. And that's when he has the interaction with General Shaw and another just brilliant direction of, what if he walks by him and smells him? Like he smells him. He's like, I
Mhm.
never forget a smell.
So good. I
And
love too when, because like in the dream when Dick's in his head and he realizes it's Dick, he's going like, "Oh, tricky Dicky," when he realizes it, but then once he snaps out and he is back with Shaw again, he's still like cussing him under his breath. He's like, "Oh, you tricky Dicky," and then he realizes Shaw's there. I love that little piece of direction right there too, where he's just coming back and he's not aware of anything else going on around him because he's still pissed that Dick got one over on him.
it's wonderfully done. I just love that he like the way he taunts people. And it's like if you think about it, it's one of those things where I think I could feel some people having complaints of like, why is he skipping? Why doesn't he just get the fuck out of there? Like he is this cosmic
It
entity who
worked.
can like travel at like crazy speeds, and he's just like, I'm just gonna be Pennywise. I'm just gonna skip. I'm just gonna do this. And then he starts getting shot, which I thought was a little added bonus there of him like having to like crawl, and then we get here's another minor complaint. The whole
Yeah.
sequence of them having to get the shard into the tree was a little too long. It
It went on way too fucking
felt
long,
like
I'll
it
give
was
you that.
like, can we move it? Can we have this happen a little bit faster? We don't need to keep cutting between them having a hard time pushing the shard to then the adults crying over dead Taniel, which was sad. I
Sad.
really
Yeah,
like
no, I
Taniel.
liked Daniel.
And yeah, that all was very dragged out. Just, and it was all in slow motion too, which is like a weird
Yeah.
choice. We were like, see, this is why it's so long. Like we can move it
Yeah.
along. But
Mhm.
man,
But it was so epic too,
oh,
so, I mean, I guess you can't necessarily fault him
especially when our
because
boy returns.
dude.
And it made, that's what made me tear up. Like him dying, that's a tearful moment because you knew it was going to happen. And then when she wakes up, or when she gets out of the box and sees his body propped up against the box, and he's
Oh,
he's not there,
man.
and everybody's crying on his body. It's awful. But him, when Dick sees was she like a medicine woman? Like, who was
I'm
this?
fairly certain that was Rose's mother that died.
Oh, okay.
That's who I think it was. I might have missed something that confirmed or denied it, but, she helped Dick at the black spot.
Hmm.
So I think maybe she was connected to him somehow because of that spiritually. And then when shit's well, obviously what's going on in town too. I'm sure the ghosts even realize something's up.
It was either her
Um,
mom, or I think it might have been like in the story of the Galoo. Remember, it was about the chief, and she went to fight it, and it defeated her, and the daughter shows up. It might have been one of them.
okay.
I can't remember, but
It
yeah,
might
but
be.
when Dick sees her there, in like, as the snow is blowing, and then you see this little fucking shadow
Little
come out, you're
shadow.
like, oh yes.
Marley and I both got up. We're like,
Yes.
yeah, it's Rich. It's Rich. And then just Dick, oh my God, Chris Chalk, like everything that's going through his eyes and on his face as he's seeing all this and he's not saying a word. And then Rose can see that he sees something. And she's like, what do you see? A motherfucking miracle. Like
That's so good.
there's no other way to word it. And when Rich comes in and flips Pennywise the bird like, ha ha, motherfucker, I'm dead. You can't kill me again.
It's
And just, he helped save
it's
the day with
amazing.
friendship.
It's so good. And of course, it's the your atypical shot of like Pennywise is right there about to get him, and that's when they are able to insert the shard, which is like, yeah, whatever. I don't give a shit. It's so
I don't
cool.
care. It's epic. Who cares?
I just love that it blows him back, and then he's like, he accepts defeat. Like, he's defeated in that
Yeah,
moment.
he kind of
And
does in a
because,
way.
well, that's the thing, is like, he's not truly defeated. He's just
Hmm.
contained. He's just like, well, if I can't leave, I guess I'm just gonna go back to bed.
I'm going back to bed,
And
y'all.
he
I'll
has to
see you later.
I love that he sheds all of his personas. Like, he
Hmm.
sheds, it was like the demon baby shows up, the dad, Lily's dad pops up, and all the different things that he was able to, like, all the fear personas, and then he just, yeah, fucking see you later.
Yeah, I'm out.
And
Time for a nap.
yeah, and yeah, you get a very similar ending to like what we get in it chapter 1, where it's not really like, hey, in 27 years we're all going to come back together and fight this thing. It doesn't
Yeah.
happen that way, but it does raise some questions on, like, so we're getting a season 2, we're getting a season 3, and they're going to be going back in time. So I think season 2 is going to be in 1935, which is like the Bradley gang
It's the Bradley gang.
massacre.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
then we go back to 1908, which is when Pennywise
Ironwork.
becomes, and then we had, yeah, the Derry Ironworks, which is going to be, of course I'm excited, but I'm very skeptical on how it's going to be formatted, because, like, as much as I love the show and I loved what they did with it, I hope it feels unique to the world, and it's not just this season but in a different time period, because I think that would
Right.
be kind of ridiculous, and it would just kind of, I don't know, it wouldn't feel the same to me. Like,
Yeah.
and I think they definitely have to play it like they played this season, where it's like, we don't need Pennywise right off the rip. We want,
Build him up. Yeah.
yeah, we want it to do what it does best, and that is shapeshift. We want it to like show each character its fear, and then kind of bring these kids together. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be interesting. I trust Andy Muschietti. He is very passionate about this
Oh, yeah.
world and what he can do with it. I know that he's probably going to try to tie some other Stephen King property into it, like he did with Dick Halloran,
Probably.
which I was a perfect addition to this story.
Well, no,
Um,
that's actually in the It book.
Dick was?
Dick's in the It
Oh,
book. Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, he's
Alright.
mentioned. Yeah, so that wasn't Andy. That's all King.
Oh, wow. Alright, well,
He just
well,
embellished
you're
it.
not getting as much credit then, Mr. Muschietti. No, I'm just kidding. You did great.
Sorry,
You done
Andy.
great. Just don't make another superhero movie, okay? Um,
Please don't.
Stick to
Stick to
horror.
what you know.
Yeah,
Stick to
you're a
what you
very
know.
good horror director. But yeah, I mean,
And
ultimately,
also, I gotta say too, real quick, like,
yeah.
just the fact that I don't know, all the pictures the cast has been sharing and stuff, um, they make that set feel really safe and
Mhm.
at home for the kids. Even with the movies, that's something I always admired and loved about that, especially with Barbara. Like, I think she was kind of the one to keep all the kids together and make sure everybody's good and the parents are okay, like to keep the set feeling like a family. Like Andy was a part of that too, but he's mostly, directing.
Mhm.
Um, but I like that. You never want to hear about kids having a bad time in Hollywood. And when
No.
you can do a horror movie or a horror series like this and give kids a safe way to express their own fears and figure out who they are through this genre, I think it's awesome. And they're doing the right thing just with that too.
Yeah. I mean, this is as excited as I was for this show. As soon as I heard it being announced, I wasn't expecting what we got. Like it kind
No,
of exceeded my
not at all.
expectations. I am probably going to go back and rewatch it just because of how good it
Same.
is. I'm probably going to buy it. Like I don't usually buy TV shows, but
Yeah, I
this
want
has
the
to be
physical of it
I need this
for sure.
included in my now my it collection, which
Yeah,
NECA just
it's a
came out.
keeper.
NECA just came out with the
That
Pennywise with the blood.
I saw Mickey shared that. I
Yep.
was like, God,
I
that's
might have to snag
amazing.
him. I gotta put him in here somewhere. I
I
gotta.
might. You have to hang him up on the wall back there.
Oh man, but yeah, to me the show's a 10 out of 10. Like
Ditto.
I
Yeah, 10 out of
really
10,
had
5 out of 5.
very minor complaints. CGI not great, in a good chunk of the show, but I think the storytelling and the performances and just kind of the lore that's not overbearing. Like there are movies
Right.
where lore is just overbearing. There's just like so much lore you feel like you're getting buried in it. And you're just like, I don't know what is what, and
Mhm.
it's like when you give me a good explanation onto why things are happening, like I don't need to know why everything is going on, but it's always good to like be like, well, this makes sense that Pennywise
Yeah,
is
it makes
only in
sense.
Derry because of these pillars,
Yeah, it makes
and
sense.
it's there are still questions that I have about certain situations that happen in Derry after watching the two movies and the show. It's like, okay, so why does this happen? Why is this happening? But I think that's the beauty of especially Stephen King, because I've talked about it with The Shining. Like, we have our differing opinions on 1980s The Shining. You know, I think, but as I've always talked about with The Shining, is I've watched that movie so many times but every time is always different because I always seem to find something new that I
Mhm.
never noticed in a prior viewing, and I think
That's
that's
fun.
and it's crazy because I think Stephen King does that the best. Like anything that is like
Mhm.
related to Stephen King, like Doctor Sleep was that. Like even Dreamcatcher. Like I love Dreamcatcher the book, and I remember watching the movie and was just like, okay, they didn't get this right.
I
They didn't
need
do
to
this, and
reread it.
I was very I wasn't very nice about Dreamcatcher. I've never done anything on Dreamcatcher, so there's nothing on the internet of me talking bad about Dreamcatcher. But I remember
Right.
seeing the movie after reading the book because I was very excited and very disappointed after watching it. And I was like, man, sometimes I wish I just watch a movie first. Like sometimes I kind of make that
Yeah,
rule. Maybe like as yeah, the book was we always know the book is usually better than the movie with certain
facts.
unless for certain cases like Jaws. But um yeah, sometimes I just go, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna watch the movie," because I feel like I will appreciate the movie more if I don't know the source material, and I
Right.
think that's why and
Mhm.
we talked about it before we actually went live as a fact, like, I think that's why I love the 1980 Shining and you don't, because we read the book
We
at
watched
different
them in a
times.
different order. Cause
Right,
like, I watched the miniseries first, then I read the book, and I was like, "Man,
because they're
these are
so
very
similar,
similar."
right.
I was like, this is awesome." And then I didn't watch the movie till I was in my early 20s, and I was like, "What is this shit?" Sorry.
That's like
That's my hot take, I can't help it.
we
But and
always talk
also,
about it.
real quick, spoiler for The Shining book, I'm gonna lay this out here now. Dick doesn't die in the book. Dick is still alive in Doctor Sleep, the book. Another fuck you to Kubrick. You killed Dick. And then after Chris Chalk's amazing performance makes that character even better for me. I just had to double middle finger to Kubrick. Okay, I digress.
Uh, we've talked about it on the show. The fact that like anytime we mention Christine, Angela gets all like, "No, I
Oh
hate the
yeah.
movie. The book is so much better." And it's like usually it
And
is.
Charlie's like, it's my favorite horror
I
movie
know
ever.
it's You're gonna
She's like,
get that with
humbug.
anything, especially when it comes to
You
like,
are. Yeah,
a book compared to a movie. And to be honest,
for sure.
it got to the point where I was like, I'm just gonna watch the movie before I even attempt to read the book because I don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to be like that. Like going forward in my life? Like it's just
Yeah.
yeah. Like I need to since you guys covered Dreamcatcher, I definitely need to go back and rewatch the movie. It's been a long time since I read the book, so I don't have all the knowledge in my head of like what is missing or what all that. So maybe I'll appreciate the movie a little bit more on a second watch
Yeah,
because
I
it's
need
been a
to.
long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time since since I'd watched the movie, but it's been even longer since I'd read the book, and I can remember pieces of it. And I watched a refresher about the book, but I remember enjoying it a lot. And yeah, I've just been on a King kick lately. So I've got my buddy at work was watching it, and then our other friend has heard us talk about it so much. Now he's reading the book before he starts the show. And he's like, "Well, what other king should I read after this? I've never read any of his books." And I was like, "Well, I'm glad you asked. Next, you should start with The Shining."
There's a lot. There
And
is a
so, yeah,
lot.
we're spreading the good word
Hell
of
yeah.
Uncle Steve.
You got to do it. You got to do it. There's a lot of good out there. Even check out some of his son's stuff, Joe Hill. He's got a lot of good stuff as well. Um,
Yeah, he is.
I mean, there's a lot more I think we could talk about with this show, and maybe down the road we will do some more talk about the show, the movies, the universe as a whole.
Mhm.
Who
That'd
knows?
be fun.
There could be a podcast in the future. I'm not making that promise right now, but you never know. Things could happen. We could make things work. Stay
We
tuned.
can.
I don't know. But yeah, I think we talked about a lot of stuff. We talked a lot of spoilers. There's stuff we didn't talk about, but you know what? That's fine.
We'd be here till tomorrow.
Exactly. We're already an hour and a half into this thing, and to be
I
honest, it's
know.
probably the longest slice of TV episode you're ever gonna get.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall, well, actually, before I forget, because this is what I do, I always say something in the beginning of a show, and then I forget to do it at the end. But I will remember
Mhm.
this. Anna, what is your
Oh, yeah.
trifecta? Who are, like your character trifecta of Welcome to Derry?
Dick Halloran, Rich Santos, and Pennywise, the dancing clown.
I'm going to put Pennywise at my number 3 because he's so good. It's just not fair.
Oh, yeah, I'm not necessarily putting them in any order. I
Okay.
was
All
just
right.
naming off. Dick's number 1 for sure, though.
It's between Dick and Rich, but I think Dick does more in the show. But yeah, 100%. But yeah, that's exactly who I would say. And to be honest, I would give my honorable mention to Marge because
Yeah, I'm
of
right
I
there
think her
with you.
arc was done very well, and I really like that
Agreed.
actress. I think she did a very. I mean, they all did. Everybody, to be honest, I don't think there was one bad performance in this show. I think
I
everybody
don't
does a
either.
great job. Like everybody. To be honest, I will be brutally honest, and I love James Remar. I feel his performance was probably the weakest of anyone in the show.
Damn. I
I,
could see why you say that, though, just because he's very, like, monotone.
Yes. I mean,
You know,
he
very.
is a military man. So it's like it
Yeah.
fits the bill. But compared to everybody else, because of his one note kind of demeanor, it
Mhm.
doesn't like it's not I'm not fully like I'm just like, hey, you're a military man. Like I feel like something you're gonna turn into a shitty person. Not to say
Yeah.
everybody in the military is a shitty person. I'm just saying, like in movies, it's usually how it's portrayed, especially in situations like this. Like
Yeah.
you knew
And in
that
the
this guy wasn't going to
60s.
be a good guy the whole time. Like the dude
Yeah.
literally releases a fear demon onto like he wants to release a fear demon onto the world because women have rights now. Let's
Yeah.
come on, man. We fought a war
Yes.
where we stopped a guy
Clutch
like
my
that.
pearls.
Yeah.
I know,
What a
right?
piece of shit. But yeah, I think that's that. I think that's it. I think that's pretty much what all we can talk about right now. But again, what did you all think of it? Welcome to Derry.
Yeah.
We want to hear from you. Were you a fan? Were you not a fan? Listen, we're not going to judge you. If you didn't like the show, let us know why. And
Mhm.
be nice about it. You don't have to, I mean, or speak your truths. All right. Speak how you want. Let us know in the comments. Send us a message over on social media, all that. Comment on the post that we'll put up when this comes out. We want to hear from you because this is a newer show and there's a lot of opinions out there. And I know personally people who didn't like the show, and I know a lot of people who did. So
Right. Same.
we can all still be friends at the end of the day.
Why
But
can't we be friends?
well,
Back to Lethal Weapon 4.
All I know is we need to get the hell out of Derry because this place is fogging my mind. Is not nice, and
Fog's coming in.
I keep hearing little kids whisper or yelling, "You'll float too," and I'm just not a fan of it. So I'm gonna get the hell out of Derry. Anna, you should do the same. It's not a good.
I've got the car warming up.
All right, I'm hopping in.
Ready when you
I'm
are.
jumping in the back seat. Where I'm hopping in. We're getting the fuck out of here.
Let's go.
Anna, thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
To talk Welcome to Derry with me. It was a fun conversation, and I can't wait for more.
Me either.
What do you got going on? You got a lot going on. You're
everywhere
involved in things, but what do you got going on right now?
On the Baron's Hideout, we are finishing up Dead of Winter. When are you releasing this? When is this coming out?
This will be out on Monday. This coming Monday.
Okay. So today, when this comes out, we will be releasing our Christmas episode, which is covering Christmas, Bloody Christmas. Ooh. Was a first time watch for me, and I fucking loved it. It was
got
so
it
much
back
fun.
There somewhere.
It was a treat, a nice surprise. And then Give Me Back is still on their winter break. I think everything's going to start back up in January. And right now, Be Action is filling the Tuesday spots. So you'll have new stuff from them. And I think Charlie's pulled guest spot episodes to fill in as well. So
I know he this past week they released the Give Me Back My Christmas special.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, we had the Christmas special this week.
Which is very good. Check it out. You might hear my voice in there. You hear Anna a lot in the episode, but you might hear my voice for about a minute and a half.
Might.
But it's one of those going down memory lane episodes where you talk about Christmas specials, you talk about traditions, and it's not all happy and cheery. It's definitely it's it's just a great conversation that you guys all have.
We're very raw and real, I would say.
Which, there's nothing wrong with it. Sometimes not everything can be happy and cheery, and you guys are very honest. And I think that's, that's what I love about all the shows you guys are a part of is it's just very genuine, and the conversations are always truthful to, you're not bullshitting anyone. And that's what we try to strive for over here. We don't want to bullshit anyone. Whatever you hear from us, it's our honest truths. We're not following any lead.
Right.
So yeah,
that's the way we like it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, all of the links to all the shows that Anna is a part of will be down in the description. Make sure to go back to and check out Anna's guest spots over here. She's been on a few episodes. She talked Alien Romulus with us. There was the season premiere, which is crazy because our season finale just happened, which is wild to think about.
It's been a year.
It's been wild. The time flies when you're having a blast. But yeah, got some awesome guest spots. And you can follow us over. Just go to our Linktree. I hate going through all the things. Go to our Linktree/DissectThatFilm, where it has every link to all of our social medias, our Patreon, which you can join for a single $1, and get early access to episodes. And we have monthly watch-alongs and other things that are going to be happening in the future. And we're going on our holiday break. We just released our season finale of the Monster Zone. As of recording, we released our episode on Colossal from 2016. That was our final Monster Zone, and we did our finale of our other podcast the week before, where we talked about Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 3. And then, we're done for the year. This is the last. This will truthfully be the last piece of Dissect That Film content for 2025.
What a way to take her out.
There it is. All right, I've done a lot of talking. Let's get the hell out of Derry. Until next time, I am Brett Parker, and that is Anna. And this has been another episode of Slice of TV. Remember, we'll all float down here.
Beep, beep, Marge.
Bye.
Bye.